Bear Cubs! For my very first YouTube video, I'm going to be making Lapis Lazuli from Steven Universe. Lapis is one of my favorite characters. She's been through so much and she's so powerful, but she has a soft side to her. I think she'd do anything for Steven and Peridot, but she also wants to look out for herself and her own emotions and mental state. Okay, anyway, let's get to the doll. I'll be using this Abby doll because she's blue like Lapis. Her hair is kind of roughed up because my dog got a hold of her, but that's okay because we're going to be doing a reroot anyway. I already made some mods to the doll prior to filming. She has molded fur around her wrist and ankles that I sanded off. Not my best job. I need to invest in a Dremel, but she's my doll, so I don't mind so much. I may fix her in the future. Okay, first thing to repair her for the reroot is to remove her hair. Cut it as close to her head as possible. This is actually really fun for me. It makes me feel like a little kid. Next, take some boiling water and the doll. Dunk her head in the water to get the vinyl nice and squishy. Keep her in there for about 30 seconds. Very carefully take her head off. Thanks to the water, it should be a lot easier and won't damage the neck peg. Take some long needle nose pliers and go in through the neck hole. Start pulling out the hair stubble. For some reason, I couldn't grab onto anything, so I made a cut on the back of her head to access the plugs better. That's when I realized something I've never come across before. Rather than being rooted and glued, each plug is individually knotted, so someone put a lot of work into this doll. And I'm ruining it. Eventually you'll have a big mess and a clean head. Since I cut an opening to pull out the plugs, I'll need to super glue it shut. Take pure acetone and wipe the factory paint off. Using pure acetone makes it easier for the paint to come off and for the face to come clean. With her face nice and clean, it's time for the reroot. I'm using Bluebell Nylon from Retro Dolls US. I'll put her website in the description box. The hanks of hair are actually quite long, so I've cut them into fourths. Loop a strand on your finger and using a reroot tool, I got mine from restoredoll.com, slip it on to the cut needle. Then plunge it into an existing hole on the head. Repeat the process until the entire head is covered with hair, finishing with a thicker pass of plugs on the part. Okay, so I actually did this in reverse order. You should glue the plugs, then boil wash the hair, but I accidentally forgot to glue them. So, to boil wash, again, please glue first. Boil some water, put the doll's head on a pencil, and carefully pour the boiling water over the head. This will make all the hair lay flat. Put her somewhere safe as she dries. I have 2 cats and a dog, so she's on my mantle in a Coke can. To seal the plugs of hair, you need Fabri-Tac glue. I got mine from Hobby Lobby, and this is my favorite brand. Push the nozzle around in the head as you squeeze the glue out to make sure every plug is touched, especially the thicker plugs around the part. Leave her somewhere safe to dry for about 30 minutes. For her clothes, I'm actually going to create a shirt and skirt pattern from the dress Abby came with. I'm not the greatest at making doll clothes. It's actually a lot harder to sew on such a small scale, but this is what I came up with. Now they need the dark blue diamonds. I mixed blue fabric paint with a bit of black paint to create a dark blue and just painted the triangles onto the fabric. Alright, it's time for her face. I should tell you, this is only the 7th doll I've ever done. I'm still learning and my technique is not perfect. I've watched a lot of wonderful doll artists here on YouTube before attempting my first doll, which was terrible. Oh my god, look at that. So terrible. Why did I show you that? Anyway, after wrapping her hair up, the first thing I start with is 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear. You need the sealant to give the plastic tooth, giving the pencils and pastels something to grab onto. Then I shade her eyes and lips with pastels, which, as you saw, didn't really do anything. I need to get better ones. I take a slightly darker than skin tone watercolor pencil to draw the outline of the eyes and eyelids. I'm still working on my skills, so I keep a nearby black pearl eraser handy to get rid of any mistakes I make, which are frequent. Here I'm starting to fill in her eye color. I decided to give her blue eyes to match her clothes, even though Lapis doesn't really have an eye color. What is the camera even doing? I'm so sorry about that. I filmed this on my cell phone. I don't have a camera. I color in the whites of her eyes. Now I'm drawing in her eyelids over the pastels I used to shade earlier. Whoops, knocked the camera back. There we go. Back to her eyelids. Okay, eyebrows are my nemesis. The first one always looks great, and then the second one is derp. I tried the turn the doll upside down for the second eyebrow method, and it worked pretty good. Oh, I wish the darn camera would focus. If I keep doing videos, I think I'm gonna invest in an actual camera rather than a cell phone. Now I'm sketching in the tear ducts and waterline with a light pink pencil. Make sure to keep the pencils extra sharp. Time to fill in her eyeliner and pupils. I tried to give her a bit of a half-lidded relaxed expression. I gave her a bit of a cat eye. I always like that look on dolls. Eventually the color won't build up anymore and you need to switch to acrylic paints. I paint the whites of her eyes first with a tiny brush and a very steady hand. Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry for the fuzzy moments. I don't know why my phone's camera did this. I'm taking a light pink paint and painting in the tear ducts and waterline. Once that's done, I take a blue and fill in the color and lines of her lips. Taking a white pencil, I highlight areas of the face, under the eyebrows, her lips, and her nose, and her eyelids. It makes the face look more finished. Taking a black pencil, I define her lips, then draw in her lower eyelashes. Try to make light, feathery strokes to make them look more realistic. Lastly, add the shines into her eyes with the white acrylic paint. After glossing her lips and eyes and giving her a much-needed haircut, she's done! I gotta say, I'm happy with how she turned out. She actually isn't my first Steven Universe doll I've ever made. My first was Sapphire. I made her from an Iris Clops doll. I wish Sapphire was height accurate, though. Well, this has been fun. Keep an eye out for my next video. It may be another Steven Universe doll. Who knows?